Transform.
What is up, everybody? I am the 80s Transformer fan. You're watching George Reviews, and today George will be reviewing Super 7's Master of the Universe Ultimate He-Man. He comes in this package. It actually came in a bigger Super 7 packaging box, but inside that box was this box from Super 7, and it looks like this is a brown mailer with He-Man Master of the Universe 7. Oh, the He-Man, I just read that. Adult collector right there, nothing else on this side. So copyright and other material right here on the bottom of the box. Gonna get this guy open, take a look at He-Man inside, slide him out, if I can get him out. And here he is on his blister card packaging, and out of the box it's a little bit curved. It should be like super minty, but I guess that's what they're doing over there. Anyway, here he is, fresh out of the box. Taking a look at He-Man. And if you notice, clearly you can see it's based on the vintage card back design with the exploding boulders and rocks flying right at you. Master of the Universe, He-Man, most powerful man in the universe. Ultimate edition for adult collectors. Packaged inside is He-Man with his power sword, a giant shield back there, and 3 extra heads for this guy. And a false mini comic card back thing back there to mimic the mini comic Super 7 down here. On the back of his packaging is He-Man. He has the power. Prince Adam calls upon the power within Castle Grayskull to become He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. So it says up top, super7.com. It shows you how to change the heads. You can pull off the head, add another head. It shows you other figures available. And this is kind of a throwback to the old card backs where you can buy the other figures, but like most of these guys you can no longer get. Well, so actually, some of them you can. Big Bad Toy Store still has some of these guys, but you can no longer get them from Super 7 at what would be traditional online retail. So you got to buy them from secondary people at marked up prices. So it's kind of a bummer letting you know that you can get these guys, but you really got to hunt for them. Anyway, swinging back. Oh, and one thing I want to say, I hate that they punched this hole completely out. They could have had it perforated, and if you chose to hang it, you just push it through. I don't like that they do that. So swinging back around, let me get He-Man out of his packaging because he has to come out. So to get He-Man out of his package. And he is tied down, and here's a little card behind him. And if you would like to, you can pause this and read that little bit of bio. So anyway, here is the front of the card that's hidden behind He-Man. It's the Filmation artwork. Well, not from the Filmation. It's new artwork to look like the Filmation artwork. And this looks like a photo of a cell from the original Castle Grayskull behind him, by the part Grayskull down there. And I showed you the bio one more time. You didn't get it last time. And here's He-Man in his packaging. And he has one tie on him. And just pop this guy out. Here he is out of his packaging. He feels pretty stiff coming out. Set He-Man down and pull out his weaponry, his sword, the axe, and the shield, which looks fantastic. He has 3 heads. First thing I want to do is take a look at the paintwork and how well the detailing is done, because it's a concern when it comes to these Super 7 figures. Not trying to bash them or anything like that, but it is a concern. And there's not a lot going on with He-Man. He's pretty much naked with boots and underwear on and a power harness. So there's not a lot to mess up, but you can. So I'm going to start to take a look at his face and see if the paint on his eyes is lined up. It looks like it's lined up pretty well. He doesn't have like the little screwy eyes. The eyebrows are on. The sculpt of the eyebrows is done pretty well. Paint on his head looks pretty good. I'm assuming that's paint over some soft plastic, but it may all be plastic. But I think it's paint. Turn him around. His rear, the belt's painted well. Look at the gauntlets. There's a little bit off right here on the gauntlets. It's nothing major. And he has a drop of paint right here on the forearm from the gauntlets. So looking pretty good overall. The chest is painted properly. It's lined up pretty well. Coming down to his boots. He has a nick on his boots right here, and like, darn it, why are his boots not brown plastic? I didn't even think this was paint. I really didn't. But I had a little minor nick, and stuff like that happens. There's nothing major going on, nothing that really upsets me. And looking in his sword sheath, they used his skin tone plastic and painted this gray instead of using the exact same plastic on this harness. I don't understand that, but it's not a problem right now, but I would worry about it scraping off because it sticks out. And speaking of the harness, why is this thing over to his left shoulder? I'm going to get his sword real quick. And it's over to his left shoulder. Now, they had this problem on a previous figure, which I'll get to, but you can't even rotate it. You should be able to, like, at least rotate it. You would have to, like, break it off to get it over there. You know, I mean, he's right-handed. It sticks to the right on the cartoon, but it's on the left. And, well, dang it, I don't understand why. But anyway, his paint is good. He looks pretty good. We're going to break down He-Man's articulation real quick. Coming to his head, he can look up pretty much this far. And he really can't look down without his head bouncing back. So he has a little bit of up in there. And most Super 7 figures have a problem with that ball joint and being able to look up and down and hold it. So his head, 360s on that ball joint. Get his arms up. This is the exact same buck we've been getting from the classic figures from Mattel for about 10 years now. So it's going to be the same. His arm rotates at that shoulder. He has the bicep swivel there. He has an elbow bend here. His joints are nice and tight, but not over tight so far. Coming to his hand, he has the wrist swivel here. And he has a rotation. And looking at his hand, like, you got to put weapons in his hand. That thumb is awful close to the index finger as far as squeezing a weapon in there on both hands. So that should be interesting trying to make that happen. He has the same standard ab crunch here. Not a lot coming out of it, but it's in there. And you can get him back to raise like he's looking up. Coming down to his waist, he has that waist cut, allowing him 360. It's like on a little angle going down. And his legs, he has little joints in there, allowing him to get his legs out this far. Same standard stuff. And it's a ball at the top, allowing the thigh to swivel right there. At a 360 if you wanted it to, all the way around. Coming to his knee, oh, it's very stiff. And he has the knee joint here, allowing that much motion. As a boot cut, as always, you can 360 and coming down to his foot. He goes front to back on that hinge, and there's the rocker on these hidden legs, the hidden boot rocker. And that is it for He-Man's articulation. So we're going to go to his accessories. First, we're going to pull out his power sword. And it's done in a different plastic than his harness. And I kind of think they should be close or the similar color, but I guess not. This isn't bad. It has absolutely no paint on it. The thing about this is, in this line, the Filmation line, whenever they make an accessory, it's like a flat gray paint that comes off on everything. And I always said, why not just use plastic? And then they take He-Man's power sword and just use straight plastic, which is like, man, they need to repeat this for all the figures. Just use plastic, don't paint it. So, having ranted that, I'm going to try to get the sword in his hand. And I'm smashing the thumb because his thumb is so close to the index finger. But anyway, there's the sword in his hand. He has a nice firm grip on that. And you know, we're going to hold the sword aloft to say by the power of Grayskull. And he does that pretty well. Holding it over his head. So I get him back a little bit. And you really can't get him to gaze up at it and keep it. I guess a little bit. I got it a little bit. That's better than nothing. So he holds that just fine. And again, he has to draw it with the opposite hand because it's on the other side. You know, he's got to reach all the way over there to summon the power of Grayskull. Take that out and get out his battle axe. Now this is designed, I believe, from the cartoon animation from the 80s for the toys. This is how they chose to make the vintage battle axe look on the cartoon. I said episodes on the cartoon for the vintage toy. and try. Man, I'm having a real problem smashing his thumb. I'm gonna try to come in from the bottom. Yeah, I'm smashing the thumb like crazy to get this thing in there, and I don't want to eventually like wear that thumb off and have it come off. And the bottom of the axe is pretty fat, so he can't really hold it down low without stretching the heck out of his hand. And here's his gigantic shield, and I know this comes from the commercial where they like breaking Grayskull and Skeletor sitting on the throne of Grayskull. And I'm going to try to slot this right into his hand. And no worries there, easy peasy, goes right in his hand. And oh man, this gigantic shield looks sweet. And they should have gave us a head that resembles the artwork, the animation from that commercial. They gave us a lot of heads. They should have gave us one more head that looks like that commercial animation. I think that would have really been a cool touch. But he looks very nice with this new shield and axe. I really like that. Really do. Some display options going on here. Remove that. And now we are going to come to the heads of He-Man. He has 3. He has the laughing head, which we first seen on Laughing Prince Adam, was it San Diego Comic-Con? Or some convention head. And he has the robot head and this is not the faker head. This is like when they had to make a robot to stand in for He-Man because Prince Adam was captured. And then the face fell off of it, revealing the robotic head underneath, which it looks very well done. And we have the faker head, which I was very excited to get. Looks very cool. I really dig it. So we're going to get the head popped off of He-Man. And the heads that they want to pop off come off extremely easy. Like you didn't even hear that pop. It just slid right off of there. And some heads you got to like heat up to get off. So we're going to go first for the laughing He-Man. Ha ha ha. Which, like I said, is a recreation of the laughing Prince Adam head. I got it all the way on there. Nope. Okay, I think I got it now. So here's He-Man laughing, which looks a lot better than laughing Prince Adam's head, which we're gonna bring in. Now, from what I understand, this is the exact same sculpt, but they chose to put a layer of paint on here, which ruined it. And then didn't quite get the eye slits right, which made it worse. And then on this eyebrow, the paintwork misses the eyebrow sculpt, which makes it look even worse. It looks like this guy's wearing makeup. Yeah, it just was done very poorly over here. I wouldn't mind getting a second head of this sculpt and maybe swapping the hair out. I believe you could just heat it up and get it off. And put this hair on this head. To make this guy a little bit better, even though we're getting a better Prince Adam coming soon, so I guess this thing will be trash. But anyway, this is the laughing Prince Adam head. Take that off, and we're going to go to the robot He-Man, android He-Man head. He looks creepy. He looks like They Live with Roddy Piper. But it's done real well. I like the plastic. Normally I don't like the waxy looking plastic that they use now, but it looks good in this gray. I don't think, did he ever talk? I think it's just wee wee wee. He just beeped as he moved, or as Men-at-Arms used the remote. So that is that head. And you can see, like, this isn't blood. It's like a couple wires. Maybe they should have used blue and green instead of red. But it looks like some vein or blood or something with the teeth. It looks crazy. I don't think I'll ever display it like this. You know, I would have to have like a third or fourth body for this. But taking that off, and we're going to go with the faker head. Come on, hero. And this is done pretty well. I know a lot of people complained about the little glow being too high up. And it is kind of high up, but it's not horrible. And I can see where some people just wanted a straighter cross because the light is supposed to be like the glow from his eyes, and people saying it wouldn't show up on his forehead. But it looks really cool. And then the best thing about this, I'm going to cut out the light because they put like a glow in a dark feature on here. And it's really hard to see, but I just happen to have a black light, and black lights really work well on glow in the dark things. And when you really bring the black light closer, you can see his eyes all aglow. which is very, very cool. Look at that. And I think it's a little Easter egg because I don't remember the guys actually advertising it or talking about it or making a big deal about the fact that his eyes glow in the dark. So now I want to do a little bit of comparison since we checked out all He-Man stuff. I'm going to bring in Holiday He-Man. And it's pretty much the same buck. It was like a, I don't want to say a tester, but a precursor to what we were going to get. They surprised us with this at Christmas time. And it's basically the exact same toy. And a lot of people were saying, well, they put the sheath on this side because we're going to get this figure and it'll be corrected. But they did not do that. Both of these things are on the left side, which is crazy. And again, this is the exact same figure. Anyway, so I wanted to be able, and I got this too because I wanted to be able, because I knew these heads were coming. And I wanted to immediately have a body double. And I didn't want to have a Holiday He-Man running around all 12 months out the year. We only need him for about 30 days. So get the head off of him. Alright, so I put the head on Holiday He-Man, and can you tell me which one is which? Do you know? Do you know? Other than the fact that I left the faker head on this one, these guys are pretty much identical. So I got the head back on this guy, the packaged head with the normal neutral face. And I want to bring out Mattel's Filmation He-Man. Now I never opened mine for a few reasons. One reason was I was going to review it, and I like to unbox when I review, and I never did. And then I found out that Mattel was no longer making these figures, and I thought this would be the last He-Man we see from Classics or Filmation, and before anybody knew it was going Super 7, so I kind of wanted to keep it in the packaging. And this is obviously the packaging that they used to come in, or that they still come in. And I think this is just the ultimate version where they basically reissued it and threw it on the other card. So, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's some differences in the color of the harness. There's some differences in the color of the sword. And then his skin tone, where I thought Mattel had nailed it with the look. And then Super 7 has this waxier look. It's not, if you don't have any of these, you won't notice it. But if you just started collecting these, you'll think this is great. But Mattel actually nailed it, in my opinion. So this is, and he only came with the power sword. In the stand, from the Secret of the Sword, to put his sword and She-Ra's sword into it, and Shadow Weaver had it or whatever. So I know it's kind of a bummer showing it to you like this, but I've never opened it. I don't think I ever will. Like, it's something I like some things in the box, not just for the collector value, but just like, yeah, I have He-Man still in the box, yeah. But anyway, so that's that. And last but not least, I'm gonna bring out the Classics version. So you can see the difference in these guys. And like I said, this was his power sword. It's all chewed up, and I later on updated it with this one. And they chose to go with a version of this sword for this guy. Yeah, that thumb, man, it's bending around that sword every time. Every time, unlike the Classics version. So anyway, and he's wearing the vintage style head. This isn't the normal head that he came with. This came out later. But here are these two guys side by side, and man, you can see a huge difference in these guys. They're like two totally different figures. Look like two totally different companies making them. Well, I guess it is two totally different companies, but you get what I'm saying. Alright, before I get out of here, my final thoughts on this figure. If you don't have it, you should pick it up if you're doing the He-Man line. If you missed it from Super 7, these were supposed to be made to order, but you can find this guy in great quantities on Big Bad Toy Store. I think they're secretly retailing for Super 7 now. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, but they still have Holiday He-Man in stock. They still have Laughing Prince Adam in stock. They still have previous waves of the 2.0 guys in stock. So you can go in there and get some figures. It's been out for a while. Normally these guys would sell out, especially He-Man, to be gone. But I believe they made more than just made to order. And I know it can depend on what Big Bad order. But I think they're secretly retailing for these guys. So you can still find it on Big Bad. But I think he's like $49.99 when he was $35 from Super 7 if you pre-ordered it or whatever. So I don't see anything wrong with him. I have no complaints about this guy other than my personal choices. I don't like the fact that the skin looks waxy, but that's the plastic that they're using over at Super 7 now compared to this guy. You know, that's just what they're doing now. And I don't like the fact that the sword sheath is turned the wrong way. And again, I think they may be doing that as a nod to this one. If you got this one, the last one made, and this is like a remake of that, this sword sheath is on the correct side and this one is not, because they corrected the ankles. I guess they tried to leave this guy some type of glory, saying that maybe the harness and the sheath is the right way. And that's just my opinion saying that, but he's a very solid figure. He really is. I wasn't disappointed or let down. Nothing really to gripe about. I talked about a few issues, but it was nothing major. Nothing to stop me from getting it. And if I didn't have Holiday He-Man, I would probably get another one just to be able to display all the different heads. And I think I'm going to have this guy, or Holiday He-Man, when it's not Christmas. It's not Christmas now. Holiday He-Man is going to be Faker. Get that head on him. So this guy is going to be Faker all the time. And I don't have to worry about having a sword, because Faker did not have a sword in the animation. He just came to life and went to battling He-Man. So he's going to be my Faker on the shelf. So I am an 80s Transformer fan. You just watched George Reviews, where every toy has a story.
Autobots, transform!